Welcome to the Heartwork Hub podcast. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I'm always excited to bring on new guests to talk about themselves, their lives, what makes their heart happy, and how they experience joy, self-love, and self-care amidst doing whatever they find to be their passion or their joy in life. So today I'm joined by Renee Ismail, who is joining me all the way from
Singapore.
woohoo! And maybe you might not know, I'm coming from the United States right now, although I am moving soon to Europe to be determined. So I'm excited to share that with you in the future. But I'm really excited because this is the first person I have had on the show who I have met through content creation. And I was really excited that we've been following each other on a platform called Medium for quite some time, over a year at least now, reading
Yes.
each other's newsletters and articles. And I've been following your journey on YouTube as well and watching you grow your YouTube channel. And I always love getting your emails because they're full of so much wisdom. So, why don't you go ahead and just share with us a little bit about who you are?
All right. Thank you so much, Tracy, for having me. When you emailed me the other time, to get reconnected, I feel honored because that was like the first time I got connection through Medium, and I am really honored to be here. And thank you so much for inviting me. So yes, I'm Renee Ismail, and I am a self-taught corporate videographer, and I've been running my company called PeachyPixx Productions for a decade now. And mostly in my company, I help business owners to create corporate videos, and also to, at the same time, I also teach them on how to create videos for their business. Other than that, I offer videography services for female business owners, because I feel that most of the time female business owners are more comfortable when they have a female videographer with them to share more about ideas on what they want to say in their videos and stuff like that. So that's essentially what I do as a main business. Aside to that, like what you mentioned, I'm also a YouTube enthusiast. I create videos on YouTube, and the idea of me creating videos on YouTube was initially just to be comfortable in front of the camera. So I've been a decade behind the camera, and I'm so used to be behind the camera that when it when I went in front of the camera, I just feel stuck, because then I will be looking at the lens, I'll be staring at it without blinking. So the whole idea of me going in front of the camera, going into YouTube, was being comfortable in front of the camera, and then um, it evolves in terms of now I help other business owners to be comfortable in front of the camera and also be on the YouTube platform, because there's a lot of connotation that says YouTube is a scary space, but it has somehow evolved as well. And YouTube is now, can be considered as a one of a social media platform. Yeah, so that is in a nutshell what I do and who I am.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And that's really interesting that your YouTube channel or being in front of the camera has been a shorter time so far than your time behind the camera, because you seem like well, and I guess maybe that's the knowledge you have from being behind the camera, because you know all the tips and tricks on what to do to put yourself out there
Yeah.
and kind of create content.
Yes. I think I've been in front of the camera for only 4 years,
Mhm.
and it was never in my plan to be in front of the camera, because naturally I'm an introvert, so I don't really I was not really comfortable like talking to a lens. So it took a while. So the other time, I just realized the other time I was talking to a friend and I was watching my first video. It was so awkward because I was just looking at the lens, and I was, the way I speak was not as natural as it now. and I was just trying to figure out on how to really speak to the camera and how to look natural in that sense. So it is a journey of 4 years to be comfortable in front of the camera, to be able to see the lens as a friend, like talking
Mm.
to a friend, like talking to someone you know, someone you love. So if there's anyone who, come and tell me that I am not comfortable being in front of the camera, I will tell you that I am too. I'm not someone who doesn't mean I have been behind the camera for 10 years, doesn't mean that I am comfortable being in front of the camera. So when I was in behind the camera, I'm more technical. So I know how to handle the cameras, I know how to handle the technical aspect of being behind the camera. But being in front of the camera is like another story altogether. It's totally a different space and an uncomfortable one. So when business owners come to me that they will tell me that they are not comfortable in front of the camera, I will tell them, okay, now you look at my first video, now you look at my latest video. It's a vast difference. It's a 4 years of journey, and this is also one way of me trying to tell business owners who wants to be in front of the camera that it is a journey, and it is not something where you record your video in front of the camera one time and it will be magic. Of course, there are people who are naturally good in front of the camera, but most of the time that I spoke to business owners, they are not comfortable because there is connotation of the lens staring at you, and whenever you, especially if you're using your phone, right, when you are using the front camera, you tend to look at yourself. So when you record a video and you look at yourself, there is a tendency of disconnection between yourself and the audience, unlike if you actually look at the lens. So these are some of the things that I will share with the business owners. I will mentor them. I will bring them to the journey on how to be as natural as possible, like how they are talking to a friend. Yeah.
I love that advice, and I feel like I probably need that because I always, when I'm recording my videos, I'm always looking at myself and not at
Yeah.
the lens. And even now in the Zoom window, I'm
Yeah.
looking at you and not necessarily the camera. So I
Yeah.
I guess when I watch it back, I'll be able to see a bit more about the eye movement so that I know
Yes.
for next time how to keep improving. But
Yes.
I love that it's a journey because that is pretty much my whole motto in life and the
Yeah.
what I've been embracing this past several years in my personal development, professional development journey, and even trying to identify as a business owner is like a
Yeah.
shift that I've been having to make in my
Yeah.
life. So
Mm.
I appreciate the content and the wisdom that you want to share with us today. And so maybe you've already talked about this because maybe it's
Mhm.
related to your business, but maybe it's
Yeah.
also related to your personal life in some way. What is something that you're really passionate about? And I can make some guesses based on what you said, but I want you to share. What's something that
Mm.
you're really passionate about?
I love that you have something at the back of your mind thinking what I'm passionate about. Let's see whether you hit that mark.
Yeah, I'm curious like what you might say.
I think for me it's because I am someone who is very technical. So I currently right now my passion differs every year in that sense. So now that I'm in my 40s, right, really realize that my passion lies on small things, like, for example, spending time with my friends or spending time with my family. But in a nutshell, it's really very simple things in life. And I realize these days I've been writing down a lot of things where I can bring out my inner child. It's like,
Hmm.
um we are adulting, right? And
Yeah, yeah, or it's
we are so caught up with responsibilities that
yeah.
sometimes we forgot to dig deep into our inner self.
Hmm.
So I noticed that I've been writing a lot about what I really what are the things that makes me feel good,
Hmm.
things that I do, something that will make me feel good. An example, even going to bed early. That makes me
Yeah.
feel good because
Yeah.
by the time I wake up, I feel fresh. And being 40s, I'm not sure if the listeners, if you guys are 40s, and I am very sure that you can relate to me. The whole hormonal change is a different story altogether. And there's a lot of things that you realize what you could do back in your 30s you can't do it now. Maybe for example, stay up later at night, or really packing your day to do a lot of things where personally for me I could do it in my 30s, when I was in my 30s. But in my 40s, if I were to do some kind of, maybe for example, if I do a video filming, let's say only like maybe about 2 hours, after I'm back, I just can't do anything else. I'm just laid there, I'm just relaxing, and I my body just doesn't want to function. So it is something that I noticed that happened to my body, and to the changes that's around me. So for me, as of now, in my 40s, and I believe that I'm very passionate about really digging deep into my inner child to really appreciate the smaller things in life, whether it's going for a walk in the morning, whether it's spending time with my friends, my family, whether it's really very, very, very small things. Where I used to, I have like 5 year goal in my 30s, like how many in 5 years I will achieve this. I have like a list
Yeah.
in my goal list when I was in my 30s. Now I feel that it's if I achieve if even if I achieve, I get to fulfill all my to-do list for that day, I am just happy. And I also now kind of really try to play a little bit more, in a sense that I have my nieces who are very young, so I play a lot with them. I read to them. I really spending quality time. So yeah, I think that is something that I am passionate about in my 40s. It really changed. In my 30s, I don't remember having this kind of passion where I want to purposefully dig deep into what makes me feel good. I really in my 30s I was really chasing the dollars and cents.
Hmm.
But now the dollar and cents, I feel it comes in on a secondary, but quality time is the one that I'm chasing for right now.
Oh, that's great. I actually feel very inspired by that because I have been reading your articles and you talk a lot about some advice that you would give now that you're in your 40s. And
Yeah.
so one of the things I was thinking that you might say, I wasn't sure, was that you like to help people, which you do
Yeah.
because you share all of that knowledge, all of the things that you're working on right now, you
Yeah.
share in your writing and your experiences. And as someone I'll be 38 soon, I'm 37, so I'm getting close to that mark as well. And I have started noticing kind of the similar pattern of
Difference.
wanting
Yeah.
to savor, wanting to slow down and take the
Yeah.
time to
Mm-hmm.
spend with people,
Yeah.
rather than, like you said, chasing that
Yeah.
other thing. And yeah, I want my business to
Yeah.
succeed, but I don't
Yeah.
want it to succeed at the expense of everything else
Yeah.
personally in my life. And so
Yeah.
it's like this balance too that you have to try to keep working on.
Yeah. I think one advice that I always give to my 30s listeners or followers, right? I feel that your 30s is for building. You build your business in your
Mm,
30s. It's like it's somehow I feel when I'm right now I'm in my 40s, I feel that your 30s is really your mark to build your business, build yourself, build around your, maybe like for example, if we don't have any email list in that sense, build the email list, build your health, because once you reach 40s, then you will notice that whether you have been um whether you have been kind to your body so that you can sustain the
mm,
40s. So this is something where I have a lot of my 30s friends who are just turning 30s, mid 30s, late 30s. So I will always tell them, build a 30s. It's okay if you want to chase the dollar and cents right now, because this is really the time to go ahead and build your business, be hungry. Of course, always be hungry, even at any age of your
mhm.
time. But your 30s is where you have a little bit of wisdom and still have the energy to chase
Mm.
the what you want to chase. So really build that foundation in that sense.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great advice. See, all I just needed was to have you here so you could give me advice. Oh, no, I think it's going to be great for anybody who's listening right now and can follow along and who are in that sort of phase of
Yeah.
building their business or kind of, I don't know, for me, a lot of myself and my friends in their 30s and 40s, we've done a lot of transformation. Like we've been
Yeah.
changing careers or changing paths
Yes,
and I think it's more normal than people talk about. I think it
it
happens
is.
quite frequently for us to be following these passions and being hungry for something different or
Yep.
something, even something the same, but putting that like extra oomph in
Extra.
right
Yep.
now.
Yep.
Um,
Enhancing, right? It's more of like
yeah.
enhancing what you are doing right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's awesome. So this may be tied into what you're passionate about, but what makes your heart happy? I've had people share that, just finding a good book or maybe teaching a class and that aha moment when somebody gets it, or, just it could be anything. And maybe it is related to enjoying the simple things in life, but is there some thing in particular that just makes your heart happy when you experience it or when you see it, if you want to, however you want to interpret that. It's open.
Okay, I think there's two things that makes my heart happy, but one of it is quite relatively new because I never thought I could enjoy doing it. Um, and it's actually reading because
Mm,
I am not a reader per se. And recently I tried to read and I tried to do the annotation to the book, like different colors to the post-it note. I actually indicate what is it on the book. So I realized that while I was reading and while I was doing the annotation, it gives me some kind of a joy where later on, once I finish that book, I could refer back to the same book and see what are some of the things that I can apply back to my life or to my business or to whatever my heart feels at that point of time. That's one. Reading, I never expected that. One. And another one is now I also venture into, it's not something new, but I consciously try to mentor or help business owners to break through their fears, to break through their initial start to whether they want to do something different, whether they want to enhance their business. So I somehow kind of helping them to uh, get all the ideas from them and help them to see the bigger picture. And when they achieve it, I feel like I'm a mother hen that that have that have helped them hatch their eggs, you know. So just recently, a friend of mine, it's actually I'm doing it with all only my friends because I just wanted to see how it goes. So one of my friend wanted to. She has been a trainer for a while, so she was telling me that she wanted to do a big event of 100 people to learn about Canva, because she's actually the only Canva ambassador in Singapore. So
Wow.
she wanted to create 100 PAX event to business owners who wants to learn Canva on mobile. So I said, like, okay, let's do it. Like, what do you need? Like, what are the things that you think you should do? So I I kind of like help her to source out things, basically breaking through her fear because she has never done that. And when the event ended, I feel like a okay, I feel like a mother
Like
already helped
proud.
the yeah, already helped the child grew up, and it's really a very accomplished feeling that I had in me, that feel so proud that it's not just something where she envisioned, but she already make it come true. So these are the two things that right now I think makes my heart happy. One is for myself, for my um knowledge, to increase my knowledge through reading, and one to help other business owners to see how else they can break through in their business.
Oh, that is awesome to hear. And similar to you, I've mostly had my friends in this initial
Yeah.
stage of figuring out how I'm going to pursue this business. And it's so great to have people who are supportive, but you can
Yeah.
also support them. So
Yes.
you help lift each other up. You lift each
Correct.
other
Correct.
up so that everybody can reach their goals and you can all feel proud of each other. So I
Yeah.
think that's a really great story and a lesson to us that you have been sharing about, just your journey and what you've been through, and then also how you support other people in
Yeah.
reaching their goals.
Yeah. I
Um,
think it's a very important. I think these days it's very much about collaboration rather than competition, right?
oh yeah.
Where right, it's a very because when you collaborate is where you can also reach wider audience. When you collaborate is when you also help each other out, like you mentioned, each other businesses. So now is the era of collaborating and not competing. I mean, you can compete, but in a healthier way. And I feel that even if you are doing the same niche or the same business, there is always room for collaboration, because not everything we are expert in, right?
Hmm.
We are always there is always certain things that you are strong at, and there are certain things that you are weak at. So maybe what the weakness, you might want to collaborate with other people so that it can complement your business. Yeah. So that's always been my belief ever since I started business, is to really collaborate even with the same niche of business.
I think that's a great perspective to have. And yeah, we all have something that maybe somebody in the same niche is just a little further along, or
Yeah.
maybe they take it in a different perspective. So we can all offer that to each other. When I think about competition, I think about competing against myself, I guess,
Yes.
more than
Yes.
anybody. I'm
Correct.
really just trying to level up
Yeah.
my own
Be
business,
better.
my own
Yeah.
self, my own whatever it is. And if
Yeah.
other people level up along with me, then that's awesome too.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, that's true.
The last question is about balancing everything. And I hesitate to say work-life balance because it really to
Right.
me isn't necessarily work and life. I think it all kind of, it's not,
Yes.
to me, when I think about it, it's not like this. It's more like a this. Like, it's
Yeah.
all kind of connected. So how do you practice self-care? What's something that you might intentionally do to take that step back and practice that self-care, or even knowing when it's time to do that?
Yeah. Before I even share about my self-care, and I totally agree with you, it's not about work-life balance. You don't balance your work and your life. It's really about I like to call it like a figure of eight. Like
Mm,
you, if you are doing your work, you are focusing your work, and then when you're doing your life, in a sense like self-care or whatever, you focus on your life and your attention to that without thinking of the work, which I'm still learning.
me too.
Sometimes
Me
I
too. It's
still
a process. It is a process. And it's unlearning too for me.
yes.
It's a process of
Yeah.
learning and unlearning.
Yes, that's right. So it's really not about balancing your work life, but it's really more of how you can focus on your work and focus on your life in that sense. So I totally agree with what you said. And for me, when I practice self-care is I make a point almost every week. I try almost every week to go for long runs or hiking. I'm quite an outdoor person, even though I am an introvert, but I'm quite an outdoor person. I can run alone, I can do hiking alone. So that is my form of self-care. And I'm not sure whether this is something where you have heard or your audience have heard before, but another form of self-care for myself is also work related.
Mhm.
So I feel that even yes, I do have like my business, my videography business, my mentoring business and stuff like that. But I do have somehow uh like a work related where I have like a podcast where I still need to do, recording and stuff like that. But it's a passion project. It's like a like what you mentioned just now, helping people. So another aspect of me helping the business owners to be comfortable in front of the camera, but I also help caregivers because in a sense that I accidentally become a caregiver during COVID. And it was something that I never expected I became one.
Mhm.
So it somehow I have this all emotions around me, like why me? Why is it that I have to be a caregiver? I had a very free lifestyle, and when now I became a caregiver, it's a caregiver first, then everything else. So I somehow have a work related kind of aspect of things where it's like an outlet for me to share about my caregiving journey,
Mhm.
and at the same time to also help others who incidentally become a caregiver as well. So I have two different ways of self-care. One is really like hiking, exercise and everything. And I have one that is work related, which if I don't do work, I feel that I'm not self-caring. I don't know whether it sounds very it sounds very like I'm workaholic, but no, I'm not. It's not. I'm not. It's not that I'm not workaholic, but I use that aspect of passion project in that sense to increase my creativity.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I self care.
Well, it sounds like for you, that's what you need, right? You need to
Yeah,
kind of sometimes have that creative outlet into the
yeah,
videography or into the mentoring, that is something that you take care of yourself by doing, because it is a passion of yours. So it's not always work,
yeah,
because you have other responsibilities in life that also take a lot of your energy and time,
yeah,
and so you want to also pour back into something that's creative and that gives you excitement. So that makes sense to me. And I think you have a lot of just different perspectives that you get to share with people, whether they're watching your YouTube channel or
yeah,
whether they're reading your articles on Medium. You offer a lot about your journey in life as you've as you said, talked about the changes that have happened in your 40s and your
Yes.
business journey and your caregiver journey and what that's looked like for you.
Yep.
Well, we're going to wrap up here in just a moment, but is there anything else that you'd like to share about anything that we talked about today, or any kind of final thoughts or words or plugs you want to put in for anything?
I think if you're a business owner and you want to create videos, my only advice to you is to just start.
Yeah,
To really start creating videos, it is okay to mess up in the first place, because that's essentially the whole journey is all about. And never expect yourself to be perfect at one time. So it always a lot of practices, a lot of changes in between, and that's when you will hit your you can tell yourself, oh, this is my journey, this is how I actually do it. But in the first place, you have to start. If you don't start, it will never happen.
I agree. That is, and I will agree with you on that. But then I will also say you have to start, and then you have to have some level of consistency, which
Yes.
is something that I haven't had since I started, and I think I'm getting reignited with
Yeah.
this passion to continue. And you've been part of that inspiration for me, so I appreciate that, and I want to thank you for
Thank
that,
you.
even though you didn't know I was reading all your newsletters for like the last
Yes.
year. I was following you, and so I was really happy when you agreed to chat with me a bit more today,
Yes.
and so we could share and learn about each other. So
Yep.
thank you so much. So,
Thank
Renee, thank
you.
you for joining us on the Heartwork Hub podcast. And maybe we'll see you again in a future episode, and we can keep sharing with each
Yes.
other as we continue to learn and grow together. So, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tracy, for having me, and have a good evening.
Thank you. You too.